People's Platform.
Good evening and welcome to the People's Platform. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Niresh Eliathambi. The people of this country have been crying out for many years for a system change. But what do we mean by a system change? We need to change our nation to one which is more efficient and more productive, because without those two aspects, we're not going to develop very far. And to discuss the idea, the concept, and the practice of productivity, I'm pleased to welcome to our studio Dr. Indra Singawinata, and he's the Secretary General of the Asian Productivity Organization. And with him is Mr. Zainuri Juri, who is the Principal Program Officer of the Asian Productivity Organization. That's the APO. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Niresh.
Thank you, Niresh.
Good evening, Niresh.
Right. So, Dr. Indra, tell us about your organization, because we in Sri Lanka, we haven't been very focused on productivity for many years, and that is one of the reasons where we have been left behind in development in many aspects. But now, with the present government, there is a renewed focus on efficiency and productivity. So tell us about your organization and how you work.
Thank you so much. So first of all, Niresh, thank you for inviting us to this very valuable program, because this is also good for APO to actually reintroduce, because we have been quite a long time with Sri Lankan government since 1966. So let me again introduce our organizations. So Asian Productivity Organization, or APO, is an intergovernmental organization focused on the productivity, established in May 1961, and now is consists of 21 member countries. And all these member countries, because as you know, the terminology name is Asian, so this country is all in Asian Pacific regions. And like mentioned before, we are the only organization probably in the world that really focus on the productivity movement, productivity issue, and anything related to the productivity that later on we can elaborate more. Thank you, Niresh.
Right. And Zainuri, could I bring you into to tell us now, I believe you have 21 member nations.
Yes, yes.
And could you tell us about those?
Okay, as mentioned by Secretary General, we have 21 members from the Asian Pacific region. The organization started way back in 1961 with the 8 founding members, and now we grow to 21 members, which is Sri Lanka joined us in 1966.
So quite a long
Yeah. It's one of the, I can say, pioneer. When we started in 1961 with only 8, and Sri Lanka 1966, it means that one of the pioneer. Because the latest edition, latest member country who joined us is Turkey, which is in the year 2020. So this is the strength of APO, because we have 21 members with a different, various background, various economic developments, from the advanced, from the emerging, from the developing. So the strength of APO is these multilateral cooperations among these member countries, with the one vision is to contribute for the socio-economic development through productivity enhancement. Yeah.
Right. And the member nations, I believe, are from Turkey in the west all the way to Japan.
All the way to,
and most of the South Asia, the countries are members.
Not most of the South Asia, because in South Asia now we have Nepal, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Yeah, this is also the Asians.
Yes.
And of course we have one very far in the Pacific, which is Fiji.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And you're right, because we have very far in the west, which is Turkey. And far east, Japan.
Absolutely. So tell us about the activities. Maybe the Secretary General could tell us more about the activities in throughout the Asian region.
Thank you so much. Before I forgot, actually, I also have to mention in here, this is actually initiated first time by the Japan government. through their Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this is the initiative from Japan. At the time, Japan would like to share and would like to, of course, share this knowledge about productivity, because if we see during the 1960s era, we know that the gap at that time between the Japan as an advanced country and the other country is quite sharp. So this is actually one of the Japan initiative to make the region grows together through productivity. So let me jump into your question. What is exactly our activities? So at the moment, Neeraj, we have some of the activities that we categorize as three actually. One is what we call as a multi-country, and second, we have our own research, and the third, what we call as a in-country. Multi-countries is the activities, the programs that more on the dissemination of the new innovation, new knowledge, new technology, new concept into a platform. Can be a conference, workshop, training, capacity building, that we invited all the members country from this 21 members. Then for research, yes, definitely, because we are doing focus on the productivity. So in 1 year, we produce, this is one of our regular publishing actually. So we publish what we call as a
Productivity data book.
Productivity data book, and once
Outlook.
and productivity outlook. So this is, we also make an index and some rating of our own members in terms of their productivity. And last is the in-country, Neeraj. So in-country is really more on the tailor-made by the needs of the members. So after we make the activities in multi-country, we disseminate the new knowledge, new innovation, new whatever that related with the how the productivities evolve. Then some of the members, sometimes they also ask something that really tailored with their needs. So in multi-country, we have the program that we call as a demo project company. Is a project or the program that we implement the methodology, the concept of the productivity itself to one company as a testimonial. So this whether this methodology is working or not, we can testing on this company. Then also we have a TS. TS is we dispatch the technical expert to the particular countries, our members, with by the request of their needs. So what is exactly the topic and the area is really depend on the countries. And now we also make the master plan. The master plan is also requested by some of our members. So this is very important now, Neeraj, because the productivity itself is not only on the micro level, on the methodology level, but also in the policymaker level. So we make a holistic master plan from the country, and really we tailor based on their needs and their aspect with their variables and all the related to the countries. Thank you, Neeraj.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, Zainuri, when you deal with a country, you're obviously dealing through the government, but does it extend to the private sector? Because in many countries, it's a mix of state sector and private sector.
Thank you very much, Neeraj. The Asian Productivity Organization, how we operate may be a bit different with the other international organizations. Yeah, we call it our partner. Yeah, like in Sri Lanka, our partner is the Ministry of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, which they already have designated one agency, which is National Productivity Secretariat, as our focal point. So they are the one who actually support us in implementing the project here. For instance, Sri Lanka, and they are the one who also identify if, let's say, okay, we have an issue with SME, productivity and SME, so they will identify which companies and that can be participating in our program. So as what you asked, that we work in both sectors, government and private.
Right. Excellent. And you are, in fact, here in Sri Lanka at the moment
Yes.
for the launching of the National Productivity Award,
Yeah.
which is, was launched after several years, actually. It was there earlier, and then we sort of forgot about productivity.
Yeah.
And now we're going back to the drawing board, as it were.
Correct.
Dr. Indra, tell me how, when you are targeting, what you're targeting is in fact a culture change, isn't it? To move a culture which is not so productive to move it higher, where it becomes more efficient, more productive. At what age do you target? Because now you have you have people who have been doing the same job for 30 years, and they don't want to change. They're happy as they are, and then you have youngsters who want to effect change, but then you also have youngsters who are happy to just go into a job and just do the 9 to 5 and go home. So how do you sort of get everybody's buy-in to this?
Thank you very much, Neeraj. Quite difficult question, but yes, this is actually the question that also been asked even within our member countries. So let me go back again from the productivity basic concept. As we know that you already mentioned it, productivity is with the very limited resources, we have to make the maximum in output, because that is one of the way to make our country still have an output, because once this output strength end or stop, then the growth will be also stopped. By that thing, that's why we always try to make this dissemination to the member countries. But like Mr. Zainuri mentioned, we don't have branches, Neeraj. We are quite unique. We don't have branches like other organizations, but we have a partner. So actually the main driver of the productivity movement in the countries is our partners, which is the organization that we call as a National Productivity Organization or National Productivity Center. Back to your question, one of our member, I just jumped to give you example, the real example. They also think like you. We have to start from the youth. And this is happened in one of our member, which is Vietnam. So I had a meeting actually with the Prime Minister of Vietnam in April 2023, and he instructed to the Vietnam cabinet to start improve their productivity starting in 3 sectors. And one of the sectors is the productivity for youth in the university. Like you mentioned, this is the culture. But this evening, even your minister, Sunil Hanuneti, yes, your minister, he mentioned about is more early. Start from even elementary school, start from the junior high school, because it's a cultural. Yes, you're right. It's a cultural. If you ask me, is there any good example about this culture of productivity? Me and Zainuri will live in Japan, because APO is our secretary is in Japan. We can say yes, Japan is one of the good example or benchmarking that make a discipline, the punctuality of the timing, etc. Since they are in the very early in the childhood. So this is something that I would like to also share with you. Yes, for that reason, that's why this productivity movement is not only the methodology, but hopefully also the culture that we can change. And we can see, I can say that one of our member, which is Vietnam, is starting by doing this productivity for youth movement. Neeraj. Yeah.
Excellent. And so here in Sri Lanka, have you all studied Sri Lanka? Because it is a country which went through a lot of change over the last several years.
Yes.
Change which was absolutely necessary because the government went bankrupt. And of course, the people demand change, but the people themselves need to change. So, Zainuri, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, before that, Nilesh, let me add what Secretary General mentioned. Our vision is we put the word inclusive, meaning that for us, productivity is for everyone. Yeah, not only for people in the career or people in the working sector, but for everyone. So Sri Lanka is one of the best example. If we talk about introduction of productivity from the grassroots, because they have started so many programs. I mean, more than 10 years or 20 years ago, they go to the community, they go to the school. Yeah, they have they call it productivity in school. I think one of the pioneer among the APO members who introduced productivity in the school. So this is something that about changing the mindset of people, because we can say that people knows about productivity when they started to do when they started in the career, when they go to the factory. Okay, they have to do all this kind of efficiency, but what about at home? You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. What about at home? Why don't you introduce at home that you need to simple thing. You need to segregate the rubbish, for instance, plastic, where to put plastic, paper. That's a productivity. Even though simple things like you need to clean up your dish, and then you have to put it, where is the plate, where is the bowl, and everything. Because that kind of concept will go to the manufacturing, to the factory. They will put everything, the tools and everything, segregate. Yeah. So again, in Sri Lanka, I can say that there's a lot of improvement. Because personally, this is my second trip. The first trip I was here is 2008. It was a long time ago. I can see lots of difference. And one thing that here, I can see the governments, they give a full support. If one example, the Productivity Center, which is National Productivity Secretariat, one of the largest organization among the APO members. Yeah. You have more than 700 staff. Even if we compare with other countries like Singapore, Thailand, even Malaysia, less than that, the number of staff. So we can see that's the full commitment from the government to change. They assign all the officers to go in entire country, which is amazing. For me, it's amazing. That is very amazing effort by the government. So now it depends on how the people can accept it. You know?
Right. So that's very interesting. But for a government such as ours to act on this, a lot of research needs to be done to identify the problem areas. How long does such research take, and who should be commissioned for it? Say the universities or within each ministry? How is that done?
Maybe we have, as what Secretary General mentioned, we have one activities we call research. Yeah, we do the research, not only measuring the productivity growth, but we also do research on emerging issues and trends in productivity. So now people talk about AI, people talk about digital transformation. Yes. So we do some research on how it will affect the productivity. For us, we work together with a research firm like any even university, top university in APO member countries. We approach them, we work together with them, and then in each member countries, because we need to collect the data, so we request the government of the country to recommend. So which one is the center that is related to the topic that we would like to do the research to work together with us. So it depends on the topic, it depends on the subject. Yeah. Yes. It's not only one agency or one ministry in Sri Lanka, for instance. So the government, even the minister of industry can identify. If something talking about labor, then we talk with the Minister of Labor. Yeah. If we talk about finance, then Minister of Finance, for instance. That's the thing. We are open to work. Yeah.
Right. And Secretary General, could you tell us how you work with the different cultures? For example, you have 21 member states.
Right.
And you have Japan, which has for many years been super efficient. It's always a shining example to the world where efficiency and productivity are concerned.
Right.
And then you have the different nations which are at different stages. How do you sort of reconcile these cultures? Because it is cultural, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you, Niresh. Within the 21 countries, Niresh, this is actually, I always repeatedly mention, this is my personal view on our various members in APO, because we have 4 advanced countries: Japan, South Korea, ROC, Taiwan, and then Singapore. And we have the emerging country. I believe we can recognize Sri Lanka as one of the emerging one, together with ASEAN like Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, the emerging one, and of course the developing countries. You're right, there is a culture that we also always have to respect on that. But Niresh, I still do believe the working ethics in every people is very much influence or have a very big impact to the productivity movement, the productivity methodology, the productivity technique, whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, those who are working on that is the people itself. How we deal with that culture. That's why we always making this multi-country first to promote, to introduce. This is the most innovative technology that we have. This is the most innovative skills or knowledge that we have. For example, like the green productivity from Japan, how they make a smart manufacturing, how they make a smart agriculture with the very efficient water usage, with the very efficient seeds, zero pesticide. They can even sometimes can double it their cultivation and harvesting. That is the technique, Niresh. We introduce it by our multi-country projects or programs to all the members, and is depend and back to our member whether they want to try implement it back home, they want to do it or not. And yes, after they do it, of course, that's what I mentioned before. The culture, the commitment from the government is very much important. And since until today, we are also quite happy because actually many of the members, they themselves start to implement what they already learned from other, which is the advanced country. But for me, technology whatsoever, we can learn. But I do agree with you, Niresh. Culture is very much is a big aspect that influence the productivity attitude, the productivity effectiveness in the country. Yeah.
Right. And Zainuri, would you like to add your thoughts on the cultural aspect?
How we inline that?
It's interesting actually. If you see member countries of APU, we have from the East, Southeast Asia, South Asia. Totally different culture. Yeah. I take example. Okay, people say punctuality. Yeah, that is efficiency, punctuality. Japan is, every say no one can deny, right?
No one can deny.
In punctuality, people always refer, Japanese time, Japanese time. So take one example. If it's a meeting in Japan start at 9, you have to be there at least 5 minutes before that. You have to be there. Okay. In other countries, they said 9, 9:10 or 9:15. But if you really wants to change, at least sharp you there, or at least you late 1 or 2 minutes. We know the culture. Yeah, we know the culture. Sorry, traffic. Traffic. Yeah, but at least you can make improvement rather than you come late at 10 minutes late. You try to make it improve 5 minutes, 3 minutes slowly, because you cannot change the culture overnight. Yeah, I remember when we had a program here. I mean, in Sri Lanka, I like this country. So we had a program in one of the factory, and then people say that, okay, we can do productivity from 9 to 5 only. Meaning only in the office or only in the premise. After 5, no more productivity. So, but there is something, but for me, yeah, why not? Rather than you don't do anything, at least from 9 to 5, you do the productivity. Slowly, gradually, maybe you can extend after that. Yeah. Because many productivity improvement, we call it productivity enhancement tools and techniques. Many are common sense actually, Niresh. Yeah, many things are common sense in productivity, especially efficiency. You want to reduce the time, you want to cut the movement. Yeah, you want to cut the cost.
Yeah.
Many things that we can actually not easy, not that difficult to do it, but maybe the way, our mindset, our attitude, we are happy with what we are doing. As you said earlier that the younger generation, okay, why we have to do productivity? Yeah, this is something that even though I'm not productive, I still can make profit. Yes, but can you compete with others? Yeah. So
yes,
we sometimes okay, Japan is good, as what Secretary General said. We try to make a standard. Okay, this is the standard that based on actually Japanese culture. Yeah, we make a standard and a guideline you follow. Even though you cannot follow 100%, but at least some document, some guideline we produce, take it and do it. Try to do it. How to improve your work process, how to make it efficiency. So that's the only thing that we can do. We document it. We provide the guidebook. Please try to apply.
Excellent. Well, it's not an easy task.
It's not an easy task.
Yes.
If I may add, Niraj, for example, we talk about end-to-end production cycle. In Japan Kaizen, even from the input itself, they're already searching for the best quality of the raw material, of the input. Because during the process, hopefully the waste we can reduce, we can minimize optimally. But to have this raw material coming from the good input, transparency is one of the very important thing, because it's an open tender.
Yeah,
right. It's no more direct appointment, no more manual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why one of the thing is about transparency itself. How we get the best raw materials for our production to become the best finished good, the best product that we can compete in the market. So simple actually. Transparency is one of the key to get this the best input, the best materials, the best for everything.
Absolutely. Very interesting indeed. We need to take a short commercial break right now. Don't go away, because we'll be right back.
The People's Platform.
2 long, hard years of work, winning test matches all around the world has gone into this.
And he can shift the game on a dime.
Game on!
There's fire, there's always a little bit of drama as well.
That's a catch for the ages in the ultimate test match.
They just keep coming. This game is so exciting. It's a one-off.
Australia win the World Test Championship.
The Expert's View, Sunday at 9:45 p.m.
Design is like music. It's a whole orchestra. The dots, the lines, the dashes. It's a whole symphony. It has to feel good.
Come on a fantastic discovery of design as Anthony Burke meets designers from Mumbai to Yogyakarta, showcasing groundbreaking works.
This is me, this is my creation, this is my life.
Culture by Design.
Tomorrow at 6 p.m. onwards on TV1.
The People's Platform.
Welcome back to the People's Platform. I am in conversation with Dr. Indra Singawinata, Secretary General of the Asian Productivity Organization, and Mr. Zainuri Juri, who is the Principal Program Officer of the same organization, the APO. Gentlemen, it's been very interesting and educational as well, and I'm sure our audience would have learned a lot from what we have been discussing. I just have a few more questions. Dr. Indra, when you talk about effecting change and making a nation more productive, and you can start small or you can make it nationwide, but how fast would you expect results? Let's take a company. You know, how fast can you actually affect results where you are actually changing the culture? You know, this is not like bringing in automation and you know, it's a new machine, it works faster. But it's about the people. How fast will they unlearn what, you know, the bad habits that they have and learn how to be more productive?
Okay, probably Zainuri later on can correct me if there is something not right. For demo, for example, I give example our demo company project that I mentioned before, I explained before, is about the testing of our knowledge, the testing of our skills. Could be technology, could be not technology, even the 5S in Japan, even from the layout of the company, it really also impact to your operational and finally impact to your efficiency. Then when we conducted some of our demonstration company, the impact is there, Neeraj. That was after more than 1 year probably, right? 1 year, 2 years, then we can see the impact. But again, Neeraj, this is actually also always become my question. Do they will sustain? Do they will consistent on that? Do they will persistence on that? This is also the question. And this question can be answered, I think, after 5 years, whether the company still do the good thing or not. Probably after 5 years, we have to check again, Zainuri. Probably. This is my own view. Okay. But I give you an example of the public sector that have improvement. Okay, this is because I'm not Indonesian, but I just give you some example. I'm the person that always believe on let's try first. After we learn, we have that skill, let's try. Rather than finally we just put all this theory and etc. in our shell book. Let's try. In 2016, the Indonesian government starting to think and talk about digitalization in immigration office. Very specific on the passport process. This is 2016. At that time, during my time, probably the passport took a week, probably 2 weeks, probably at that time, during my time. But now, can be 2 hours probably, 3 hours, 1 day at the latest, by digitalization of the process. So can you see, that's idea come out in 2016, and just now in 2025 you can check on the Google, the Indonesian immigration is become the top 10, one of the best processes office in the world. It is by Skytrack. So because it's about the process when we go and back and forth with our passport, because now we have an electronic passport.
Yes.
So this is I just give you example. We talk to 2016 implementation 8 years ago, 8 years after, 9 years, but it's improving. That is by the government. And I just stop very specific on the immigration side because this is something that I know. Neeraj.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, we in Sri Lanka have had issues with our immigration processes as well.
Oh, okay.
Visas and also passports. But it's a lot better now than it was a year ago. But your thoughts on this, Zainuri?
Thank you. Thank you, Neeraj. Actually, you asked about how long it takes. Yeah. Actually, we cannot say any specific time or any timeline, but in any productivity enhancement program, we call it program. If let's say you own one company, we always work with SMEs. Yeah, you have 30 or 40 people working in your factory, and then you as a leader, as the CEO or the owner, you say that I want to improve the productivity. Then I want to introduce 1 program, 2 programs, and I want to make it in 6 months, for instance. Or I said, if you are really like very harsh and very want to make a drastic change, I want to change in 1 month. So that's why in productivity, a very famous concept, total quality management,
TQM.
TQM. The most important aspect is leadership or top management commitment.
Right.
Yeah. So if the leader said, I want it this way, and he committed, and he give everything, it's done. It's the same thing with what we experience in Sri Lanka today. We attended the launching of National Productivity Award. The Prime Minister attended. She committed. So if the top management committed, then the bottom will go. But if the top management or leaders of the organization of the country, they don't commit, then how do you expect that 6 months or 1 year or 2 years can happen? You can't. So the most important thing is how the leaders, how they set the direction, and how they are commit to do it. Because this is about the change of attitude, change the way you do. You need someone to drive.
Right. Dr. Indra, you mentioned the word sustainability, sustaining these changes that would lead to greater productivity. Now, I remember a time in Sri Lanka, we had a president who was, being punctual was like a religion to him.
Wow.
I mean, he would make sure that every cabinet minister woke up at 5 a.m. He would call them at that time. He would make sure that they got to office by 8 o'clock. And he even had clock towers constructed in every town. So people would, be constantly reminded that they need to be on time. So during that period, Sri Lankan culture did actually work more to time. But then after his era ended, Sri Lanka went back to our usual cultural scenario of okay, I'll come at 9:30. So it's a ballpark figure rather than saying I'll be here at 9 o'clock. So how do you sustain this? And again, I think what Zainuri said about leadership is very key here.
I agree, more than agree with that. Leadership is one of the very important aspect to make this movement, the productivity movement, work. But again, Neeraj, that's you already mentioned it. How to sustain it? That's why, for me, we really have to produce more. The next generations of this productivity agent, because if finally that consistency is only in a certain era by a particular person, this is also not too good, meaning that the productivity is only drive by an individual that finally is not disseminated to everyone. But again, we are Asian pattern, like it or not, Neeraj, it's a leadership, it's a figuristic. So yes, we still need a good example to show to the public, and I still believe that the public will also follow. So my answer to you, we have to really produce our next productivity agent in the youth. But to doing that, still we need a role model. We are Asian.
Yeah.
Our roots is kingdom, actually. Sorry to say, it's kingdom. Like it or not, I'm have no any issue on that. I'm Indonesian. I know that we always respect the elders. We respect, the leaders. So the role model of the leaders is playing very critical in this productivity movement, Niresh.
Right. Now, Zainuri, can I ask you about the challenge of AI, artificial intelligence? Because AI came in about 2.5 years ago, and immediately the fear is, will I lose my job? And you see the stories in the media, this industry, that industry, the workers will be replaced, and it's categorized. Are you in a high risk industry or not, and so on. But I always get that feeling that if you are a hard worker, an efficient worker with experience, and you are useful to your company, to your bosses, you're valuable, then they're less likely to replace you with AI. So am I on the right track here?
Okay. I think people have many different opinion about AI. So based on the facts and figure, I cannot say any things yet at the moment, because we are still doing our research on AI. First is readiness of our member countries on this AI. Second research, we are talking about the AI adoption in public sector.
Right.
Yeah. So we are still working on it. So I cannot say anything whether this AI will change the way we do and everything. But either you like it or not, that AI will change our life. We cannot say that okay, AI is AI, we still need human. That's fine. But people, I think that we don't have to be so much worried on the AI, because this is the change that we need to experience, that we need to we need to face. Because okay, in the past, you say that people come to office, they use a typewriter, right? They use a typewriter, or if you are the top bureaucrat, you will ask your typist to type your letter. You don't know anything, okay, just type. But once the computer comes, you have to do by yourself. If you cannot do it, you need to be retrained. Yeah, you need to train to use the computer. No choice. Now AI is coming. So by whether you like it or not, you have to do. But then the thing is, meaning that you need to upskill. You need to do something more than what you are doing now, right? So yeah, that's the thing for me, is this is the opportunity actually for us to improve ourselves. I mean that those administrative work can be replaced by AI, but we need to do something much higher than that. So we have to challenge ourselves. Otherwise, as what you said, no choice, you lose your job.
Right. Can I also ask you, productivity, it spans all industries, doesn't it? I mean, whether you are in shipping or banking or agriculture, but what are the key differences in the different industries?
Wow, very tough questions. Actually, when you say about productivity, of course, the concepts are the same. Any sectors. Yeah.
I think my question was that are the concepts vastly different?
No, even if you say that private sector and public sector, we are talking about efficiency. Yeah. What actually your main goal? If based on the customer. Okay. If you're in the private sector, regardless you are in the manufacturing, you are in the services, at the end of the day, that you want to satisfy your customer. So that means that you want to make your services better, your quality, your delivery faster. Yeah, to the customer. If you are in the public sector, you have to make sure citizens are happy with your services. They don't have to wait for 2 or 3 days to get your document to be ready. Yeah, so meaning the work process improvement are the same. You need to improve the way you do. If today, let's say, what as you Secretary General mentioned, that if passport in the past 2 years, 2 months to be ready, now 2 hours, meaning that you need to change the way you do. So it applies to all sectors, not.
Right. So that's a good answer. In fact, whether you're a farmer out in a rural area or you're working with the latest technology in a bank, it's the same principles that you need to
yes,
apply.
Yes,
Right. Now, Dr. Indra, can I ask you, and we are almost out of time, but can I ask you about the importance of productivity for foreign direct investment? Because this is something where Sri Lanka is struggling. We have a lot of issues in our state sector, which basically hampers or discourages foreign investors from coming in, or discourages local investors. Many of our local entrepreneurs are going overseas. But how important is it to get the productivity up into the top reaches, so that then we can tell the foreign investors that, hey, come to Sri Lanka?
It's very good.
You know, Neeraj, your question actually is really my passion, because this is something that I almost doing the whole of my career before I become the Secretary General of APO. FDI, productivity, and this is very important actually, is about law enforcement. Investors need certainty. Investors need something that efficient and fast. So actually we have this program we call as a GRP, Good Regulatory Practices. And the one that's starting to adopt it is Vietnam. So actually it's really related, Neeraj, very much related. You attract the FDI to come into your country, but when they come and you make them difficult, it's not going to work. So first coming first, you always have to see the line of, I just want to say it bluntly, the line of licensing. How many licenses that you need if you want to go to your country? You have to make it clear, you have to make it short, and you have to make some certainty when they finally invest in your country. And that is by law enforcement. And that is by the consistency of the government. Now the question, Neeraj, how if the government change? That is the question that coming to me from all the foreign direct investment when they, at that time, during my time, when they want to come to Indonesia. And we are struggling also to do it, but glad that now we are doing okay. I'm talking about Indonesian case because this is that I know. But for APO case, Vietnam is the one who's want to adopt it. We have that program, we call it Good Regulatory Practices. So we map how many licenses in one specific investment. You just have to cut it, Neeraj. I give you, sorry, this is a very blunt answer to you. Make it simple, make it clear, and make the certainty to your investor by law enforcement. That yes, if I go to Sri Lanka, my investment is safe, my investment is clear, I know my ROI, I know my profit, and hopefully I also can mitigate my risk. That's very, very important, Neeraj, your question.
Right. And finally, Zainuri, would you like to add something more to that?
Thank you so much, Nes. I just want to add, because I understand that there's a target by the government of Sri Lanka in 2030. I think there's a 5-year roadmap.
Yeah.
Ease of doing business. That is the ease of doing business. Currently, I forgot actually the ranking of Sri Lanka. But they want to improve, I think,
until 70 something.
Yeah, 70 something from the current maybe 88. So I think that is something to give the signal to the investors out there that the government is trying to improve the processes to get the license, because in some of the member countries they do the benchmarking study between the neighbors. So they say if my neighbor country can accept investment or how long it takes to do the licensing, they said, okay, in that country only 2 hours, but why my country 2 months? So from that they can learn actually what actually the bottleneck. The bottleneck. I think for Sri Lanka is a very good initiative by the government now that they see this is the opportunity, the opportunity for investment but there are many things that they need to improve. So that goes back to the productivity. So that's why productivity is very important, meaning that if the people who work in those areas in the past, they need to complete one work, maybe it takes 2 or 3 days. Now they have to do it in 1 hour to make sure that the licensing, the processes can be done faster.
Right. And my final question to Dr. Indra.
Yes.
It's important to benchmark against your neighbors, isn't it? Because you can't sort of be thinking, oh, we are here, this is our country, and investors will come and they have to do whatever we want. If we say 10 licenses, they have to do 10. But it doesn't work that way.
No.
You have to benchmark and you have to compete with your neighbors.
Yes. Like it or not, like I mentioned before, because I always believe that competitiveness always towards to the perfection. So when we make but this is also important, Niresh, when we also make a benchmarking, better also at least within the region. Because went to the EU, went to the OECD with their standard, with their, of course, they have their own standard, they have their own project, etc. I can say Asia have their own characteristic and uniqueness for this. But don't worry for that, because this 4 advanced countries, I can say also Malaysia, is also can be the representative showing that we in Asia, we are doing okay. That's why, again, that I would like to emphasize in here, benchmarking within our countries is one of the good things, because it is still within the region. The aspects also relatively the same. Sometimes it's not too far. So we can say that the changing or the revision or the improvement that we want to have is actionable and achievable. It's not only a dreaming. It's achievable target that we can do. So it really depends on the countries.
And would you? This is my final question. Would you say you are optimistic about Sri Lanka's programs and our chances of increasing our productivity?
I'm so confident. Never forget, Niresh, you Sri Lanka people, you have the working ethic, you have a good culture, you are a lovely people. So for me, is a very basic that you already have. You have a good people, you have a working ethic. This is something that a very good start. And now, of course, now it depends to your leaders, depend to your environment, depend to how you make the law enforcement. You strengthen it. I confident that Sri Lanka can improve in the future.
Excellent. That's excellent news, which our viewers would love to hear, of course. And I'm afraid we are out of time. My thanks to Dr. Indra Singawinata, Secretary General of the Asian Productivity Organization, and Mr. Zainuri Juri, the Principal Program Officer of the APO. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Niresh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Niresh.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away, because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.
The People's